Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're taking a look at and showing you how to install these Glacier chain cable snow tire chains on our 2020 Toyota RAV4. So the big thing with these is that they're going to be cables rather than a traditional chain. That's going to mean it's very low profile, so it's going to be a smooth ride quality with these steel rollers over top of the cables, but it also means it's not very aggressive. So this is really just for light snow. If you want something that's going to bite and dig into ice, break it up, and give you more traction in those applications, this really doesn't have the chops to do that. At that point, I'd recommend looking for something with a square link that's going to be an actual chain. But for light duty applications, this definitely works, and it's going to retain pretty okay ride quality. It does have a ladder pattern style here, so it's just these cables running perpendicularly across the tire, which is going to be good for starts and stops at the sacrifice of a little bit of bumpiness. It doesn't have a whole lot of adjustment built into it, so you are going to want to pick up a pair of rubber tensioners. These aren't included with the kit, but they do help ensure that we have a strong fit on the tire because of that lack of adjustment built right into the chain. At that point, I would recommend maybe looking into a nicer alternative with a self-tensioning mechanism built in. For the RAV4, one of those chains is going to be a lot easier to install, and it's going to give you better fitment right out of the box compared to this one. Now, these do come with a carrying case, which definitely isn't the best. You can see here that this one right out of the gate is already ripped. The material is just very thin and it's pretty susceptible to tearing. A lot of the other nicer chains also come with nicer carrying cases. And the other thing with this one is that it's hard to coil those cables back into this small bag. So for me, I would pretty much just toss this right away and maybe get something like a plastic tote to keep them in, because that's also going to be a little bit more water resistant in addition to being more durable. Now, as far as the install process goes, these definitely aren't my favorite. It'll get the job done in a pinch, but it's going to require a lot of time on the ground behind the tire where you just don't have a lot of clearance to get both hands in there. It is definitely doable though, and we'll walk you through that process now. Getting the cables installed is pretty straightforward. Just lay it out, make sure nothing's tangled up, and then we can come to the cross sections where we have these links. There's going to be a more smooth side right here that says tire side. Just watch out for that and make sure it's face down so it ends up facing the tire. Then we can grab it by the middle and drape it over the tire, being careful to not hit the vehicle and make sure everything is centered up both front to back as well as side to side. Luckily, the rollers here make it pretty easy to move side to side if we need to. I'd say right there looks pretty good though. And we can go around back to make our first connection. So underneath, we've got this side with the series of studs and this side with our catch plate. Basically, you want to feed these studs through the catch plate and get as many on there as you can. I recommend trying this out in your driveway once or twice before you go out. That way, you know where you need to go for the right fitment on your tire. For us today, I'm going to not go all the way because we have the same connection to make up front as well. And I'm going to hook the excess into this little catch plate right here next to it. Right there is looking pretty okay, and we can make the same connection around front. It's a lot easier to do up here because, again, we've got both hands at our disposal. So you can link those together about as tight as it'll go. And then, of course, just feed that excess onto the catch plate there. And right now, it's a pretty loose fit. And that's pretty typical for a chain like this, which is why, at this point, we recommend adding a rubber tensioner. This isn't included with the cables, but we always recommend adding them. You can find it in the related parts section on the page you're currently on. Just scroll on down and pick up a pair. And this you want to apply in a star-shaped pattern relatively evenly around the tire. This will draw in some of that excess slack, get us a good strong fit on the tire, and help keep constant tension on there as well. After you've done this, you want to install the other side, drive forward a few times, and come out and check on them. Make sure that nothing's settled in too much or loosened up. If you need to, you can always tighten up these studs to get a tighter fit, and then you're good to go and hit the road. And that'll do it for our look at the Glacier Chain cable snow tire chains here on our 2020 Toyota RAV4. Thanks for watching.